Bonjour mes étudiants extended. I welcome you all to this new session. So we are now in a new lesson 5 dans la classe. So in this session we are going to see two things. One is the vocabulary of this lesson and second thing is dialogue 1 and dialogue 2 of this lesson. So we will start with the vocabulary and it is just 10. We can finish it fast. So let's move on to the vocabulary page. Here is the vocabulary. Page number 60 you can take. So let's start. So the first vocabulary we are going to learn is ami. Ami means friend. So ami, it is a male friend. If it is a ami with e, that is a female friend. So both the pronunciation are same, ami and ami, but the spelling differs. For male it is without e and female it is with e. Elle a quel âge? Elle a quel âge? How old is she? Elle a quel âge? How old is she? Un élève, une élève, pupil. Un livre de français, un livre de français, French book. En plus, moreover. En plus, moreover. Voilà, voilà, there is, there are. So once again I repeat this. Ami, ami. Elle a quel âge? Un élève, une élève. Un livre de français. En plus, voilà. Ami, male friend. Ami with e, female friend. Elle a quel âge? How old is she? And une élève, pupil. Un livre de français, French book. En plus, moreover. Voilà, there is, there are. So this is the vocabulary of this lesson. So only from this 10, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, these 7 vocabularies alone I'll ask for today's online test. So it will be very easy for you. So learn this 7 from this particular lesson, lesson 5. Now we will move on to the dialogue. So as usual, after seeing the vocabulary, we will go to dialogue. So we are going to see the first dialogue. So dans la classe, that is the title of the lesson. So in the class. So something is happening in the class between the professor and the students, and Anish and Manuel is also there. So if you see the image, Anish and Manuel is sitting here and the professor is here and a new student arrives. So this is the situation of the class. So let's see what's the conversation. So have a pencil with you. As I say, you just underline, and if you have any doubts you can write it on the right side. When I teach the same thing in online class, you can ask me. So take your pencil and get ready. Le professeur, bonjour. Les élèves, bonjour monsieur. Le professeur, vous avez le livre de français? Vous avez le livre de français? Les élèves, oui monsieur, nous avons le livre de français. Anish, le professeur est grand. Oui. Manuel says oui. En plus, il est sympathique. So with this the conversation ends. So now let's see the conversation, what they speak. So the first thing they start is, The professor enters the class and he says bonjour. So already you guys know, when we start a class, I tell bonjour to you guys and then we will start. So your reply will be bonjour monsieur. So the same thing. You will reply good morning sir, hello sir, have a nice day. So like that you will tell me the reply. The same way the class starts here. The second thing which the professor asks is, do you all have the French book? If we read the same sentence in French, vous avez le livre de français? Vous avez le livre de français? Now the students reply, oui monsieur, nous avons le livre de français. Yes sir, we have the French book. Okay. Anish, le professeur est grand. Anish says, the professor is tall. Grand means tall. Okay. Manuel replies, oui, en plus, il est sympathique. So en plus is the word which we learned from the vocabulary. So you can underline that. So whatever the words which you guys know, you can underline and you can check that. Sympathic is nothing but being kind. Okay. So this also was repeating from the vocabulary line. En plus il est sympathique means moreover he is so kind. So I read it once again in French and then in English. Bonjour, bonjour monsieur. Vous avez le livre de français? Oui monsieur, nous avons le livre de français. Le professeur est grand. Oui, en plus il est sympathique. Now in English. Good morning. Good morning sir. Do you have French book? Yes sir, we have French book. Anish says, the professor is tall. Yes, moreover he is kind also. Okay, moreover he is kind. So this is the dialogue 1. So as I read it, I gave you the English translation also. Anyway, I'll give it once again in the class. Now you can just listen. Okay. Now we'll move on to exercise number 2. Okay, let's move on to dialogue number 2. Now let's see who is talking this dialogue number 2. Manuel and Anish, they both are talking to each other. Now they say, seeing this image, they say, see these two are talking. They are seeing someone who is entering the class. Manuel says, voila Isabel. So voila Isabel means there is Isabel. The Isabel is arriving inside the class. Isabel. So her name is Isabel. Qui est? Qui est? So qui est is nothing but who is she? Who is this? Anish doesn't know who is Isabel. So Manuel says, c'est une amie de Caroline. Manuel says, it's a friend of Caroline. She is the friend of Caroline. Now Anish asks the next question. Elle a quel âge? Elle a quel âge? For this, the reply given is, elle a 10 ans, elle est jolie. So Manuel says, she is 10 years old and she is beautiful. So this is the conversation. Once again, I'll read it. You just slowly go through this. Voilà Isabelle. Qui est? C'est une amie de Caroline. Elle a quel âge? Elle a 10 ans. Elle est jolie. So the thing is, first in this topic, they are greeting the professor and they talk about the professor. These two are talking about the professor. Now, they are not talking about the professor in dialogue 2. They are talking about a new person who is arriving inside the class. And who is she? She is Isabel. So Isabel is a friend of Caroline. So this is what Manuel is explaining to Anish. Okay. So this is the dialogue 2. So once again I'll read it. Voilà Isabelle. Qui est? C'est une amie de Caroline. Elle a quel âge? Elle a 10 ans. Elle est jolie. So this is the thing explained by Anish. Sorry, Emmanuel to Anish. Okay. So next thing what you are going to see is, we have seen 2 dialogues now. We are going to read both the dialogue once and then we will complete this. Compléter les dialogues avec un mot. Okay. So first dialogue, le professeur, bonjour. Les élèves, bonjour monsieur. Le professeur, vous avez le livre de français? Les élèves, oui monsieur, nous avons le livre de français. Anish, le professeur est grand. Manuel, oui, en plus il est sympathique. Now the English conversation once again. Good morning. Good morning, sir. Do you have French book? Yes, sir, we have French book. The professor is tall. Yes, and moreover he is kind. So I'll repeat this once again. Slowly you can take down the translation. Good morning. With a pencil you can write it in your rough note and then copy it to your classwork. Good morning. Good morning, sir. Do you have a French book? Question mark. Do you have a French book? Question mark. The reply is, yes sir, we have a French book. Yes sir, we have a French book. Now dialogue from Manish. The professor is tall. The professor is tall. Manuel, yes, comma. Moreover, he is kind. Moreover, he is kind. Now dialogue 2. We are done with dialogue 1. Now moving to dialogue 2. Put D2 and write Manuel's dialogue. Here is Isabel. Here is Isabel. And it says, who is this? Who is this? Who is this? Manuel replies, it's a friend of Carolyn. It's a friend of Carolyn. She is a friend of Carolyn also you can write. She is a friend of Carolyn. She is a friend of Carolyn. Now Anish. Ella Kailash, what's her age? What's her age? What is her age? Ella, disons, she is 10 years old. She is 10 years old. Full stop. She is beautiful. She is 10 years old and she is beautiful. So now this exercise you can do it on your own. Let it this be a homework. Vous dash un stylo. Vous avez un stylo. So this let it be a homework. We will solve it together. Okay. So we will stop with this. This is enough. So what we have seen today is we have seen vocabulary of this lesson, and that is for your online test. Let me show you once. So this will be for your online test today. Vocabulary of this lesson. And you have learned this translation of dialogue 1 and dialogue 2. So your part is you have to learn the vocabulary for online test, and dialogue 1 and dialogue 2 you have to write it in your classwork with the French and English translation. French passage must be there as well as English passage must be there. So This is enough for you guys. So rest of the things we will see in the live class. So merci mes étudiants, bonne journée.